We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. Let me tell you right now, the zebras are crooked, the refs are bought out, and I won't stand for any of it. Referees and bitter fans, internet, my name is Peridiam, and let's talk about cheating in Survivor. We're looking at moments throughout Survivor history where players broke a rule during a challenge and sometimes went on to win said challenge in spite of the rule infraction, while other times were caught and punished for it. About every example in this video is a legit rule violation, but at the same time, I don't think the players were being dishonest. I've watched the tapes, and most of the time, they're just making honest mistakes. Anyway, just wanted to say that, and speaking of the tapes, let's roll them. The first instance of cheating is going to be the granddaddy of them all. It is the most infamous instance of players breaking the rules in Survivor, in a Survivor challenge. It's from Season 5, Thailand, in Episode 3, with the ever so entertaining Attack Zone Challenge. This challenge was a race to acquire 10 items from the other side of the course. You can only carry one item at a time. You can only have 2 players from your tribe on the course at a time. If you fall off, you have to go back to the start. And if you are touching the gold and black area in the middle, and someone else is too, you can push them off. That is the intersection of the challenge, which is the infamous attack zone. If you are not in the attack zone when you engage contact, you are out of the game. And one item from your tribe's boat goes into the other tribe's boat. You lose a point, they get a free point. That is really harsh. We initially see the rule get implemented as it should. Rob and Ted play fair, then Brian and Cheyenne play fair. They're both in the attack zone, so these are legal attacks. The Purple Sukjai tribe proved to be a lot faster and take a commanding 8-4 lead. But then we see Ken break the rule of the holy attack zone when he takes down Helen right here. He is clearly not in the AZ and gets disqualified for it. Right after this, we get one of the most well-known moments from this entire season when Rob with 2 Bs clearly breaks the same rule and chokes Clay. Side comment, it's so extra, and Rob is clearly in the wrong. Like, just unquestionably, blatantly in the wrong. And of course, he is now DQ'd as well. Then we see Stephanie take on Ted. She loses and falls in the water, but decides to keep fighting. She drags Ted off, and that is another rule violation. She's now out too. Sukjai has now lost 3 members and given up 3 points and the lead. And then, as if the self-destruction couldn't get any worse or funnier, Jed takes out Brian, but he is also not in the attack zone, and he gets thrown out of the challenge as well. However, can we pause the tape? Rewind. Okay, if you freeze the frame, I think it's possible Jed actually got a bad call here. The tip of his foot is possibly in the gold when he makes contact. I don't know. I think it's a pretty close call. The lack of HD certainly muddies the clay-laden waters. I'm not gonna lose my cool over this. I don't blame the ref for the call, but I gotta imagine all the Sukjai fans out there probably lost their mind with this. Either way, it is now 9-4 in favor of Chewigon. Wow, one of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen. And yeah, they easily won after that. Sukjai attack zoned themselves. The second instance of a rule being broken is from the final 6 of Season 2, the Australian Outback, and it is from a cheap challenge involving rope and carabiners. I call it cheap because that's just how a lot of the early season challenges were. It's a really simple challenge. Each player is given 2 carabiners that they use to guide themselves to 4 checkpoints along a rope's course. They have to have at least 1 carabiner attached to a rope at all times, and when they want to connect themselves to another rope to go in another direction, they gotta clip the unclipped one to a new rope, then unclip the previous one and keep going. The first player to reach the finish line wins. Like I said, it's a pretty simple challenge. However, I rewatched the tapes, and while Colby Donaldson is known for being a challenge beast, I gotta say, something went awry here. After checkpoint 2, Amber and Colby were in a heated battle for first place. They were jockeying for the top spot. At one point, Colby was in front, then Amber. And then they got to a big intersection, and we're gonna have to rely on slow-mo to make sense of this action-packed play. So what we see here is Amber clips to a new rope, pauses to unclip her other carabiner, then Colby slides in from the left, going under the rope. He gets in Amber's way with some nice positioning, and then Would you look at that? Would you look at that? It only lasts a second, but Colby has both of his carabiners unclipped. One of them was supposed to be attached at all times. And now look, I'm not saying Colby should be DQ'd for this, but somebody needs to acknowledge that Amber finished behind Colby by a few seconds and lost this challenge. I know Jeff loves his Hershey bar and is clearly biased here, but still, something ain't right.
You'll have 2 carabiners. One carabiner needs to be attached to your rope at all times. So whenever you change ropes, take the other carabiner that's free, clip to the new rope, then unclip. Almost there! Keep going, Amber. He's wearing down. Nice job.
Now, the third rule violation isn't even worthy of being debated or really probably talked about too much. It is clear as day, and nobody's going to dispute this call. It's from season 19, Samoa, in episode 2 in the Schmurgen Brawl Challenge that is home to so many injuries in the 2 times that it's been played. This is a very physical challenge involving players in a dirty, muddy pit bashing into each other, vying for a few rugby balls so they can toss them to their teammates who can then throw them in a basket. We see a lot of physicality coming out in this challenge, and after 2 rounds, Jeff is actually a bit concerned. He tells the players there's gonna be no more warnings, no choking, headbutts, slaps to the face. If he sees anything resembling a cheap shot, you're getting ejected. And yeah, in the very next round, Ben takes a very cheap shot to Russ from behind, a swift kick and trip from behind, just clear as day, sweeps the leg and knocks Russ over, and that's all she wrote. Big Ben gets ejected, and Jeff apparently has long-term memory loss because he says that this is the first time someone has been DQ'd from a challenge, which, if you've been watching this video, just isn't the case.
Russell has Brett tied up. This is gonna be physical. It's short, and Russell tied up. Eric collides with Mick. Natalie and Laura with a heavy match going. Watch the choking. No choking. Oh, Shambo, easy on the face. You're right on that line of getting ugly. So there's no more warnings for a headbutt, an accidental choke, a slap to the face. From this point forward, if I see anything resembling a cheap shot, you're out of the challenge. Oh, a big battle on the ground. Ben, stop! Ben, out of the challenge. Ben, how you feeling about being the first person in the history of this game to ever be thrown out of a challenge? Outlaw, baby.
The fourth rule violation is from season 31, Cambodia. It's in episode 12 during a reward challenge where players navigate through a tangled obstacle course, all while tethered to a rope. The idea is that the players have to unspool their rope long enough to throw some sandbags at some blocks at the end, and also retrieve said sandbags if they miss. If they don't unspool their rope long enough, they won't be able to complete the challenge, slowing them down. For a bit of history, this challenge had first been run in season 29, where we saw Keith win it. And here was Keith again to defend his champion title 2 seasons later, ready to open up another can of whoop ass. So, if we take a look at the challenge itself, we see Keith and Jeremy battling it out for first. We see Spencer running out of rope and getting frustrated. We see Jeremy severely underestimating how much rope he had. He's got a huge knot to untangle. We see Keith step off the platform while throwing a sandbag. We see Abby Maria being a total non-fact. Wait a minute. What did I just say? Go back.
We see Abby Maria being a total...
No, not Abby. Further back. Oh my word. Keith, you son of a gun. Keith's mid-throw and a whole ass step off the platform. Oh no, see, I really like Keith, so I don't think that I'm gonna agree with this. But then what if he manages to knock off all his blocks with that much distance being shaved off from an illegal throw? What happens then, Jeff? What are you gonna do?
Keith with another pick.
Oh, okay, and he missed his throw. Anyway, yeah, that was definitely an illegal throw. You're supposed to be on the platform when you throw it, but it clearly didn't matter, and Keith was way in lead anyway, so even though he did win the challenge, I still think this is being a little nitpicky. But hey, look, Slow-mo was invented for a reason. This is the reason. I don't make the rules, I'm just following them. Same goes for you, Danielle.
First roll.
Over the line! You're over the line, that's a foul. This is not nom, this is bowling. There are rules.
The final instance of cheating, of rules being violated, of infractions being made, is from the premiere episode of season 23, South Pacific, when two challenge beasts met in the Thunderdome to square off in the first 10 minutes of the season. Ozzy versus Coach, the headline of the century. A long-standing grudge match through the ages, or two players drawn out of a hat. Either way, both of these guys had to climb up a pole, dig under a log, and then solve a 6-piece pyramid puzzle, the Tower of Hanoi. If you know this puzzle, you know that it's a little bit confusing. Basically, Ozzy and Coach have to rebuild the pyramid on the table to their left, but they can only move one piece at a time, and they cannot put bigger pieces on top of smaller ones. This little technicality makes the puzzle quite befuddling. And right away, we see both players break the rules. Or maybe it's better to say they just don't understand the rules. Ozzy moves 3 whole-ass pieces at once, in broad daylight, in 4K. Well, sorta. Ozzy, what are you doing? One at a time. He puts them back. But then we turn and we see Coach doing this. Coach, no bigger pieces on top of smaller ones. What is this? It's like creating terrible Lego constructs. It's a simple concept. And for the sake of the integrity of this challenge, Jeff does call both of them out for their rule breaking, and it's gotta be said, while Ozzy does fix his mistake, Coach actually doesn't. He unintentionally moves his pieces in a different order than where they used to be before he broke the rules, and thus gives himself a slight advantage. It's really not much of an advantage because he's just as confused as ever. It's an honest mistake, and Coach does still go on to lose this challenge, especially after his tribe tries to help him solve it, and then they kind of just like give up on him halfway in. It's a sad state of affairs all around, made no better by the fact that Coach broke a rule or was beaten by Ozzy right out of the gate at a puzzle, but it is what it is. Make no mistake, Coach Wade will get his revenge. Basically.
One piece at a time, smaller pieces on top of bigger pieces.
Yeah.
One at a time, one puzzle piece at a time. Move it back, nothing bigger on smaller. Coach, can't go big on top of small. It's complicated, we get it. One piece at a time. Ozzy has the base of his puzzle on the finish table.
No, go backwards.
Ozzy in the lead right now.
That one over there. No, stop. No, go back.
Ozzy wins for tonight. We got it, Ozzy!
But that's gonna be it from me. Those are 5 times Survivor players cheated at challenges. Some were won, some were lost, but in the end, it's probably best summarized by saying, who really cares? Except for the bend leg sweep. That was a dirty move. And I guess choking Clay wasn't very nice. Either way, let me know if you've ever spotted any other rules getting broken in challenges. I'm sure they've happened at odd points throughout the history of the show. There's just like too much going on the screen for them not to, but there you go. A big leg sweeping thank you to all my patrons for all your support, for not sweeping the leg from behind or choking me. Where am I going with this? Thank you all for supporting me. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to play fair on your way out, and I will see you in the next one. Once I adopt the motto that all's fair in love and in war and Survivor.
It's just a game, man.
This is a league game.
Yeah, but I wasn't...
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't over.
You're entering a world of pain. What? A world of pain.
Danielle has good form.
Is the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?